Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Precious Robins with Precious Pythons, and I am back with another video, a very special video for you guys, where I will be taking a facility tour over at Reptek and Cold-Blooded Cafe. So Desiree Fanning and Stephen Kush were nice enough to invite me over to their facility so I can take a tour, and you guys are not going to want to miss this. There are so many awesome animals over at their facility. I'm talking about alligators, crocodiles, scrub pythons, different species of Abronia, so many things that not only I had not heard of, but never seen in person. So again, they're doing awesome and amazing work over there for conservation of these animals who some of them are endangered, and they're keeping them in captivity to conserve the species. And big shout out and thanks to Desiree and Steven. I'm so glad to have had the opportunity to do that, and it was very exciting, a great experience that I won't forget. Make sure that you're following them on Instagram. If you're not, I would be shocked, but if you're not, you can follow Desiree at DesireeAM1 on Instagram, and Stephen Kush, you can follow him at Steven Virides on Instagram as well. I'll also go ahead and link their pages in the description so that it is clickable and easy for you to follow that link and give them a follow. Now, without wasting any more time, we'll go ahead and get right into the video. Please comment down below. I want to know your thoughts. I was completely blown away, but again, you know, my extent of reptiles and animals doesn't go very far past ball pythons. So let's get right to it. So I am here with Desiree Fanning and Steven here at Reptek and Cold-Blooded Cafe, and they were nice enough to let me come in and do a tour of the facility. So thank you guys so much. So what room is this here?
So we are currently in the Abronia room, and Abronia are arboreal alligator lizards, and we have one of the more diverse collections of these in the country. They come in a lot of different color and pattern variations.
Wow.
This right here is probably one of the best looking ones. This is Abronia Hilo. This is what they call the calico face. You can see the majority black with those kind of white specklings throughout, some red and yellow.
Wow.
These are very beautiful. We have lots of these and many different varieties in all of these cages, and unlike most lizards, these guys prefer to be in a cooler climate.
Okay. So what temps are they at?
So this room we control on an air conditioner, essentially year round, even in the winter. We almost never let these get above 70 degrees.
Okay.
Because you see in the cages here, they do have hot spots that they can bask.
Nice.
And they can get above 100 degrees in those spots if they want to. But those will only be on during like the peak hours of the day. And during the winter, I actually can get into the 40s in here overnight, which is, it's pretty crazy.
This one's getting away, but this one is a really cool Abronia. It's really blue.
Where did it go?
Blue-eyed Graminia. Graminia is a pretty common species. It's what you see a lot of people have.
How much does these typically sell for?
It really depends. You know, the least expensive you'll find in Abronia for is about $300. Some of the rarer types can be closer to $1,000, and some you'll really never see for sale at all.
And were those like two sizes pretty much full grown?
Yeah. So these in these cages, these are all adults. We have a lot of babies over here. I can show you. Find one of these guys. This is the only litter we've had so far this year. And this is Abronia smithi. See right there, kind of darting off in the corner. So the common name is Smith's arboreal alligator lizard. These are one of the more rare types to find. And these are super variable as adults. So they kind of look kind of grayish brown right now. I can show you.
They'll change color.
Yeah, so I'm gonna walk you through over here and show you some of our adult Smith eye. So that is the male right there. It's kind of a cool green color with a little bit of blue in him.
Wow.
Let's see if this, I can find this female too. She's really unique for a Smith eye. These guys don't always have the best attitudes. And she can change colors pretty dramatically. Says there's sometimes she can look pretty brown. Right now she's looking a little more blue, kind of some like almost peach colors coming through on the side.
Is there a reason for the color change?
You know, not as far as I know. Sometimes it does seem like a time of day kind of thing.
Okay.
Sometimes it seems pretty random. So see this one, really, really dark. It has some cool, like, you know, those white subocular spines there.
Yeah.
Some yellow flecks throughout, some white. So yeah, this.
And they're the same?
Yep, they're the same species.
Wow.
It's just crazy to think that within one species they can have so many variable looks. That's what's really cool about Abronia is there's some species like Smith eye or Kyla that are very, very versatile and variable.
Are the colors and different patterns called more similar or is it?
You know, Abronia are still so new to captivity and breeding that we don't really know if there is like a genetic link between some of these different colors or if it's random. They're not necessarily referred to as morphs quite yet, but who knows, as more breeding happens, they could be considered morphs like the blue or black morph, or you know, you might find the ones recessive or whatnot. So there's still a lot to be done as far as figuring out the different colors and whatnot.
Okay.
And this shows part of Abronia where like they can be very different as far as even their body structure goes. This is Abronia taniata. You saw in the Smith eye they had those spines behind their head. The taniata right here, they don't have any of those spines at all.
And you think that was because of captive breeding, right? That they bred them out? That's what I was...
As far as I know, in the wild, that these won't have spines. Yeah, there's kind of different clades of Abronia that some will have those spines, some won't. Graminia are very similar to the taniata, and they almost have scales that are more like pronounced, like they kind of have a little bit of like 3D-ness to them.
Almost raised.
Yeah, a little bit raised. Where like the Smith eye we just looked at had very smooth, flat scales. So you guys were happy with me. And this is Abronia vasconcelosi. They're known for being a little more green, some cool yellow pigments coming into them. They're very similar to Abronia arida, which I'll show you in a minute, and with some kind of cool differences too. But these are one of the more common species in the hobby. They've been bred a few times recently in the past few years. Our good friend and partner in the Abronia Alliance, Nick Gordon, has had some good success producing vasconcelosi. And here's arida down here. This is one of our adult pairs. This female right here, we believe, may be gravid. Is that a bite me?
And the bites hurt.
More than you'd think.
More than you think, wow, okay.
Yeah. So, this is her. I don't want to bug her for too long. But what's cool about arida compared to vasconcelosi is where the vascos will have yellow. These guys will have some red coloration. You can see, bring in a little bit better light. You can see around the head, some cool red scales on the body. These guys are definitely a very, very beautiful species of Abronia. Probably one of the better looking ones otherwise. Be a bit fired up.
I've never seen a green tree in person.
Yeah, we have some cool ones in here.
Wow.
And as you know, they can either be yellow or red as babies, but rarely have I seen one that kind of has this orange coloration. That's why we held on to it.
Wow.
This right here, this is pretty special. These just hatched out about a week ago.
Oh, wow.
These are captive bred barneck scrub pythons. So these are very rarely bred in captivity. Very cool. They start out as these little red babies, and they go through a color change very similar to green tree pythons, where they will turn into kind of goldish tan and black adults.
Wow.
And
about how big do they get?
They can get pretty large, and we can take a look at the adults too.
Okay.
The male is about 9 to 10 feet, and the female is a little over 11 feet.
Really?
But they've been known to get about 15 foot for about a max size adult. So as we build the bigger enclosures, we want to give them some different ways for them to, use that height, different branches and, logs to sit on and whatnot. They're a great display animal too. So with any luck, she will breed more during her life and produce more beautiful babies. This is another scrub python.
Wow, she's big.
Yeah, she is big. So she is probably about 13 feet long. And she is what is known as a southern scrub python. This girl, see if we can get her to come up. It's kind of her favorite.
What is it?
The Croc monitor. Hilo. Hi. Come here.
She is very, very friendly, but
Really? Okay.
her claws not so friendly.
Okay.
Yeah, she can, with those claws, she can cut up your arm without even trying.
Oh my goodness.
A lot more people have been working with her, and she's gotten a lot more comfortable to where now, really, any size group and with any people, she's very confident.
She's magnificent. Oh wow.
But even though she does act like this, you gotta be very wary with her.
Okay.
A bite from one this size could definitely take off a finger. So,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, they have probably some of the more dangerous teeth of any reptile in the world. So. This is arguably the most beautiful snake species in the world.
Great.
It's an Amazon basin emerald tree boa.
Wow, that color is coming up so good on the camera too.
Mhm. Yeah, and this thing has just gotten more and more white with time. This species has been selectively bred for 20 plus years to have this insane amount of white with these long crossbars. This is a northern emerald tree boa. So they're totally different species. The northern emerald tree boas are typically found in like Suriname and Guyana, where the Amazon basins, they come from Brazil. So Brazil currently and for a long time does not export wildlife. So these have been only captive bred over the basins for a very long time, whereas the northern emerald tree boas are still brought in wild caught all the time. And a lot of the times those animals have some trouble thriving in captivity. There's a lot of diseases that particularly affect emerald tree boas, and lots of times the imported ones will have those diseases. So this is a multi-generation captive bred northern emerald tree boa. These are two different caiman species. I have a Yukari caiman right here, and Des.
It's a broad-snouted caiman.
These are both South American species. Yeah.
Sometimes he still makes his mommy call. Are you growing up?
What's
you don't
great
cry
about
for mommy
these
anymore?
two caiman compared to some other crocodilians is they actually keep these really beautiful colors into adulthood. So kind of these cool yellows on the side and all these patterns that this thing has. It will look like that as an adult, and same with the broad snout caiman. And even though they are closely related, they get very, very different size as adults. So a Yukari caiman can be 7 or 8 foot full grown, where a broad snout caiman might only be 4 feet long. They're kind of like little bulldogs, these kind of blunt heads and kind of shorter stature with these kind of longer legs. They're definitely
They're
very
feisty.
fun. Yeah, they're feisty little crocodilians. So they're very beautiful. And the Yukari caiman is almost totally lost in captivity now because a while ago they were put on what's known as CITES, it's an act that limits the transport of endangered species. It's the Conference of the International Trade of Endangered Species. And basically what that means is you can't sell them across state lines. So what they did was they took these and they hybridized them with spectacled caiman, which were not on that list, and then due to the hybridization, you could sell them. So basically, before that, there were Yukari caiman. They were plentiful, lots of very healthy individuals, and because of that, just for the need to make some money off of them, they were essentially lost in captivity. Which if they're lost in captivity, that means that their wild populations are essentially threatened because wherever they are, there's always logging or poaching for the skin trade or whatnot, and these captive populations are essentially what is keeping the species alive. Just in the world in general, it gives potential for reintroduction, and because of that need to sell those hybrids, pure Yukari caiman were not reproduced in captivity anymore. So we're partnered with the Dragonwood Wildlife Conservancy, which Desiree is the vice president of, in Florida, which is a big crocodilian breeding conservation group. And they produce both of these two here, as well as some other crocodilians in the room. And they are breeding pure Yukari caiman, which this one obviously came from. So they're doing some great work for conservation down there. We kind of have these up here for education, taking them to reptile shows to show people and teach them about crocodilians and their conservation. So.